Alright YouTubers, we're going to be going into a little project today. We're going to learn how to do a 110 scale bike rack. So real quick, what you're going to need as far as materials go, you're going to need some Plastistruct flat panel. This is 1mm thick, comes with 4 in a pack, so you'll have lots of extra left over to make other stuff. You're going to need some Plastistruct U-channel, this is 1/4 inch, and some styrene tubing. This is 3/16 inch tube. You're going to need a pencil to mark your stuff with, a nice X-Acto blade or something sharp to cut your styrene with, and a lighter to mold your styrene into different shapes when I get to that in a second. So we've also got some Plastistruct weld. This bonds the styrene together, and then once we get it bonded together, we'll be using our good old trusty hot glue gun to thermally put everything together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score out our pieces. We've got a wide piece for the actual front, and then we got 2 cross pieces which make the top part of the bike rack. They're not quite as wide. And then we got 2 pieces that go underneath the bottom, which was what you use to mount the bike rack to the car. So you got 2 wide pieces on the bottom. And now this little U-channel piece is something I've made that the bike actually sits into. I've made a little notch in it, as you can see, because what we're going to do is heat this up and bend it upward so the bike will sit in there like a real bike rack. So that's what that is. So we'll set that to the side. A real quick tip is when you're using styrene tubing, you don't have to cut it off with a pair of scissors or whatever. You can just really easily take your blade and either roll it on the table like so and just score a line in it like that, and it will snap off nice and clean and straight, as you can see. So this stuff is really easy to work with. Alright, so what I'm going to do is score this stuff out, and I'll show you how easy it is to get it apart. Alright, I took my X-Acto blade after I used my square angled piece here as a ruler, and I went and marked my stuff out with my pencil. I got everything scored with my blade. Just follow the lines. You don't have to press really hard. Just press down lightly and just score the plastic, because you'll see once you get this stuff scored, it actually snaps apart really easily. So you can just snap your pieces right out of there. No drama whatsoever. And everything snaps off nice and clean and straight because you scored it really straight. So as you can see, just give it a little bend, just like so. How easy is that, right? Nice and straight. Look at there. No problems. No using scissors. None of that mess. Everything is nice and straight. So everything is all the same length. You don't have any mismatched pieces. Everything's nice and equal. So what we'll do is, I'll show you really quickly. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this, but I actually will heat the end of my tube up real quick, like so, just for a second. And then I'll just push it down with my finger like that and close that end off on it like so. Just heat it up just a little bit. Don't take a whole lot, because this stuff is really sensitive to heat, so that's all I'll do. And I'm making a nice little angle to it like so. And then heat this end up, and then press it down. Like so. And you're angling that tube and closing the end off of it to make it angled, and you'll see why later. Okay? Let's do this one real quick. So, don't burn your fingers, because it is pretty hot. Just don't burn your finger doing this. Just really lightly do it like that, and there you go. You got your 2 rails for your side pieces right here. Okay, so now what you're going to do is start piecing it together. You can do it either with your bottom cross braces like so, like this, and then for your top pieces, what you can do is stack them on top like this. I'm not going to bond it together, but what will happen is you're decreasing the width a little bit, so now that your top pieces are like this, you can kind of give them a little bend and make them have a little bit of a bow to them, so they look like real roof rails on a car. And I'm not talking about really tweak the heck out of it, just a little bend like that. Just kind of mold it with your finger like that, where it's got a little bow, and then when you set that up on top of there, it's got a nice little bow to it, so it looks very realistic. I'm going to show you how to do this real quick like so. Now you get your 2 uppers and 2 lowers, and then we're going to heat this up a little bit, and we're going to bend it, because remember we got our little notch in there. We're going to bend it up nice and straight like that. Make a little angle in it like that, because the bite's going to sit right in there, and hold it up, and that way you can zip tie it to the little holder. And then you just put, all you gotta do is take your styrene plastic struck weld, put it on your pieces, and basically just glue the bike rack together like so. Glue it together, and then once you get it set up and dried, you can put your front piece on. What I usually do is just put 2 little globs of hot glue on there. You can also put styrene glue on there too, and just bond it to the front of the bike rack like so. And then you have a completed bike rack like that. And once you get it glued together, then you take it outside and give it a spray with some black primer, and you are all done. Very simple.